Good Wednesday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for this special live stream. We continue to track a storm that'll bring a wintry mess to the D.C. region today. Here's a live look outside on this Wednesday morning. It is December 16th. Good morning. I'm Annie Yu alongside Allison Seymour and Tony Perkins. We've also got Howard here as well.
Yeah, we're going to bring you all the latest throughout the next 30 minutes or so. Coming up, the storm is going to impact you no matter where you live. It just depends on where you live, what you're going to get. We have you covered from the latest snowfall predictions to the conditions on the roads.
Absolutely, but we got to start with Howard Bernstein because, Howard, you're the man of the morning, all day, all week. Good morning.
It should be every day, not just when we have a snowstorm.
I agree.
Let's work on that. Weather-wise, a real mess is coming our way. It's going to have several different types of wintry precipitation, just plain old rain too. If you're in southern Maryland, the eastern shore, the northern neck, this is going to be a cold, miserable, rainy day for you. If you are well north and west, just starting to see the first flakes in like Harrisonburg, there could be a foot or more of snow in some of these areas, especially in the mountains when you get up toward I-68, areas in northern West Virginia, close to Maryland. Best chance to stay all snow. The problem with this storm, and one reason we've been pulling our hair out, is because it's not a pure snow. If it was all snow, this would be a much easier forecast. But when we're talking about snow, sleet, freezing rain, and rain, these different precipitation types make it really tough just to come up with how much is going to be accumulating. You know, if it rains, it's tough to measure unless you got a gauge. If it snows, you can see how much. It's just that simple. So don't think so much about the number, but the impacts. Because even if we're on the low end at 3 inches, even though we're 3 to 6 for like Germantown, Clarksburg, Damascus, 3 inches with sleet and freezing rain on top of it is a mess. It's going to have all sorts of travel issues. That's happening regardless of 3 or 6. Even in Frederick, if it's 6 as opposed to 9 or 10 or 11, that would only be 6 because there was sleet and freezing rain compressing it and quite a bit of it. So that has its own problems. And traveling, the disruptions, the delays, the cancellations, they're still going to happen regardless. In D.C., you probably want to see a little snow. I know it's kind of been a while. Last year, what did we have, 0.6 at National Piddly. So today we're looking at 1, maybe 2 inches before it gets washed away, I believe, a little bit later this afternoon. So that's what the maps are. Let's show you what's happening in real time. This is a Doppler radar, the composite of it, and you see the snow here. I think the upper low, you sort of see a little tiny kink in the radar echoes there in Illinois, right? So that's energy coming in toward Indiana and Ohio and West Virginia, and all of this moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. So we've got the energy, we've got the moisture. We're just a little light on the cold for us, and that's why we're not getting all snow. Low pressure is going to track kind of here. We would want the low coming off maybe Cape Hatteras or down toward Virginia Beach and going that way. It's just maybe 50, 60 miles too far north and west for us to stay all snow in Washington. It's just, so close. It breaks your heart if you're a snow lover. But in Pennsylvania tonight, they could have some snow rates 2, 3, maybe 4 inches an hour. And we might get into some of that in northern and western Maryland for just a little bit before the heart of the real energy of the storm pulls away. So this morning, as I look at Doppler, it's starting to fill in, especially south of I-64. Lynchburg, Roanoke, that reddish pinkish area, that scares me. That's freezing rain. That's not sleet, that's ice, that's glaze on trees, limbs, branches, power lines. That causes big, big problems. This is a little bit of snow, and I was checking some of the cams on VA 511, and I was seeing in Harrisonburg just a couple of flakes starting to come down as the atmosphere is moistening up. And I do believe we've got our first, snows, if you will, from Orange to the west-northwest, approaching Culpeper and Sperryville here. So 522, this is going to be crossing 522 around Culpeper, probably in another 15 or 20 minutes. And we'll see this then move in toward Fauquier County and Prince William and Stafford. But you guys, even south toward Fredericksburg, you'll see a little snow this morning, but it's mainly a rain event for you. So what are we looking at in Washington over the next 8 hours? Wintry mix later this morning, and it might even start, I think, by 9, 10 o'clock. Then this afternoon by 2, we're probably all rain. And even if we're mixed and 35, roads in town, they're just going to be wet. We do have winter weather advisories for D.C. and lower Montgomery, eastern Howard, Fairfax, Prince William, southern Fauquier counties, and Culpeper. North and west of that, those are the winter storm warnings where there's going to be enough snow and sleet mixed to cause bigger problems. And this is where, when we got the warnings, not that in the advisory areas that we can't have problems, we'll have bigger problems in the warnings. And in the metro and south, we have flood watches in effect. You see it all down in southern Maryland, D.C. Excuse me, I can't remember a winter weather advisory and a flood watch on top of each other at the same time. So light snow develops over the next couple of hours. It becomes heavier this afternoon for a while. It'll mix with some sleet, but here we are at 2 o'clock. That darker blue is some moderate snow. That'll be lifting to the north, and it looks like the heaviest stuff up north really won't be potentially till tonight. But some sleet mixing in at 8 o'clock, rain D.C. south and east. And notice Culpeper 33. They could be 31, 32. If they're 31 as opposed to 33, even 31.9, that's an ice storm on top of the snow they're going to get. So that's got me concerned. Areas rubbing up against the Blue Ridge, just north and west of D.C. Even Montgomery and Fairfax counties could have a 1/10 of an inch of ice on top of everything else. We got to watch that carefully. This will all wind down late tonight into the overnight. So tomorrow we're cleaning up and doing a lot of melting, but later today, tonight, it's going to be a mess. Guys, back to you.
Sounds like it. Howard, thanks so much. As Howard just mentioned, we're keeping a close eye on the rain-snow line and to see who will actually get some snow and who will see more rain and sleet. And those last two, of course, could be a recipe for a potentially icy combination. Let's go live now to our Michael Quander, who's been riding around in our Weather Explorer all morning long. He is now in Warren County, Virginia, near Front Royal. Michael, I know it's still pretty quiet out there, but the roads look like they're in decent shape.
Yeah, that's what we've been seeing all morning, too. It really seems like crews really did their jobs overnight to make sure that these roads are prepared for when this winter weather rolls through. We are riding right now along 340 here in Front Royal, Virginia. We can tell you that we've seen along the highways and along the main roads within the town that the roads are treated with that salt brine. I don't know if you can see, if you all look closely at your screen here on the ground as we're traveling, you can see some of these streaks of white lines on the ground that kind of show you just the kind of work that these crews put in overnight. Now, we talked to VDOT, got some information from them, and they said their crews again have pre-treated the roads on the highways overnight as well, and they are on standby this morning as they are ready to clear those roadways once the winter weather comes in. Now, another thing that the highway crews and the road crews are going to be looking for are the effects of potential high winds from this storm. They have hired some contractors who are also on standby to help out with downed trees, branches, and debris. Now, we can tell you that they are also giving you some winter weather driving tips, okay? So if you are planning to get out there on the road, first of all, they say if you can avoid it, don't do it. Stay home and avoid any potential dangers. But if you have to get out here once this winter weather starts, you want to allow plenty of time to reach your destination. Keep a safe distance between you and other vehicles, because if someone does slam on brakes or get into a car accident or something happens, you want to make sure you have enough time to react to that, to avoid that getting into any accidents, into any crashes, and things like that. Like you can see here with photographer Mike Trammell just did with our car just here stopping at a stoplight just a distance away, even though the weather's not ready yet here, but we wanted to show you what that looks like. And also, you want to make sure that if you see crews out here who are treating the roadways, clearing snow later on, avoid them. Don't try to speed around or don't drive too close. You want to give these crews the space they need to do the job that they need to do in order to keep you and I both safe. So again, we are out here just getting a look at the road here in the Front Royal area. We are monitoring the WUSA 9 weather radar and looking for that snow when it first rolls in here. And if we do, we'll make sure we put pictures over on social media and on WUSA9.com. But again, for now, you guys, I'm reporting live in Front Royal in the WUSA 9 Weather Explorer. Michael Quander, WUSA 9.
Seeing a couple of flakes showing up now, places like Ruckersville and Harrisonburg. A few are making it to the ground. So in Front Royal, maybe in the next half hour, Michael may start seeing some of those first flakes coming down. Well, the radar, I do believe in the next little while, is going to show some snow on it. It might take an hour or so before that snow can moisten up the atmosphere enough where it actually starts reaching the ground. It evaporates, or in this case sublimates is the technical term when you're talking about frozen precipitation. Some light sprinkles also possible. But what we're going to see on the Futurecast is as the radar fills in, the intensity of the snow will pick up too. And by mid to late morning, we should have at least steady light, if not moderate snow, across a good chunk of the area along and west of I-95. With rain and sleet, maybe some sleet closer in toward like Joint Base Andrews and La Plata, Waldorf 301 corridor. Generally rain down in St. Mary's, Calvert on the eastern shore. Snow, though, is going to start to really pick up later today into the afternoon. Notice 1:30, we're showing the deeper blue. So some moderate snow potentially in Leesburg to Gaithersburg up to Frederick. Light to moderate snows, Shenandoah Valley out into the mountains, and that's going to continue through the day. The question mark we have is how much sleet, freezing rain is going to mix in, and how long does it stay frozen. Places like Culpeper, Warrenton, through Aldie and Leesburg, Route 15 basically, you guys might struggle to get above freezing. Sometimes in these situations, the cold air gets trapped in at the surface, tough to dislodge. And while the models are trying to make it rain, in Manassas at 33 and Culpeper at 33, if it's 32, you got an ice storm as opposed to cold, cold, miserable rain. And we will have that sleet and freezing rain maybe making it up into Frederick. Might even make it close to Hagerstown for a little while. Hagerstown generally going to be snowy through this, so that's why we're talking maybe 11 or 12 inches of snow. And just to let you know, we're standing by right now, so I'm going to probably have to go live to do a CBS cut, and we're not going to leave Facebook, but I just want to give you a heads up. If you see me change gear and just sort of like say, hey, what's he doing? Yeah, we're standing by for that network break. There's a 29-second network break that we're going to hit live. So I'll keep talking, but just want to give you a heads up. That's where we may be going. Tony's getting very excited for this possibility. Weather-wise, as we head toward tonight, and I just got the standby. So. Howard Bernstein with you here. We're watching some snow. It's just beginning, and by 8:30, while radar may start to get a little bit more active, not too much will be reaching the ground. Probably by 9:30, 10 o'clock is when we'll see more action. We go to the afternoon with snow becoming moderate in spots, switching over to sleet and freezing rain slowly as we turn over to rain in D.C., but the snow continues well north and west. Highs in town in the mid to upper 30s. All right, that was the cut-in we were standing by for. Got to thank.
Very nice.
One cut,
Very
nice.
nice.
Down.
Very well
I don't have a
done.
choice. They say
Ooh,
one
the
cut.
suspense.
It's live. It's happening. Whether or
Live
not.
network
Anyway.
television.
What
You
you
had
do,
me on the
baby.
edge of my
What
seat.
you do.
So this is what we do. So what I wanted to just finish saying is, as we get back to tonight, we're going to see that snow, or maybe that sleet freeze. We're going to go back to snow for a while until the storm really pulls away. But at 2:30, we might be seeing just the back edge of the snow across many areas. So between 2 and 4, we'll kick it out of here. But the damage will be done tomorrow morning. If you're D.C. south and east, there may be a few slick spots in D.C., but generally just wet roads. It's north and west that we could be dealing with the remnants of either heavy snow, sleet, or in some cases ice. And some of that ice, that's the tricky part that gets me most concerned, guys, because ice brings down tree branches and limbs and power lines. And
Howard, ice is scarier
You
to
cannot
drive.
navigate
Ice is the
it.
worst.
Right.
At least with snow, you've got a little bit of traction, but ice, I mean, it's
Yeah.
over.
The good news is tomorrow, the temperature should be upper 30s, low 40s. So if you have to get out tomorrow and you're one of those areas, if you can put off your morning chores until the afternoon, it'll be a lot better. Even by 10 o'clock, it'll be a lot better than 6 or 7 on Thursday.
Howard, get a sip of Gatorade. We'll be back to you in 42 seconds.
Right, that's
So
right.
take a break.
To see what's happened during the last minute.
Is it what you thought it was, though, Howie? Did it shape up to be the storm that you think
Well,
it's going to be so far?
Ask me tomorrow. I
Yeah.
always say there's never a perfect snow forecast because there's so many factors. You know, we're talking how many hours are we going to get snow versus sleet versus freezing rain versus rain. And if you're off by a couple of hours and those hours happen to be inch-an-hour snow, boom, you're off by 2 inches right there.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you up front, this is a tough forecast. And trying to figure out the rain-snow line. I'm not making excuses. I'm just giving you
The truth.
transparency
Sure.
of what's
Truth.
going on.
Right.
But as I like to say, if you focus solely on how much snow am I getting, but not the other factors, the duration, the start time, the end time, the impacts, because really the impacts aren't going to be much different.
Yeah.
You get, as I said earlier, if you get 3 inches of snow and 1 inch or 2 of sleet, that's awful. 5 inches of snow, 6 inches of snow, things are still closed. Traffic is still bad. Roads are still slippery. So the impact is still pretty similar. Maybe the impact for you shoveling could be the difference
Right.
part there. But getting out and about, closures, delays, yeah, that's pretty much the same.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you joining in
Yeah.
just a second. In the meantime, our team coverage continues now with a look at the preparations that have happened across the D.C. Metro. Our Nicole D'Antonio joins us live. Nicole's in Arlington County. Crews have been busy pre-treating those roads, and, they're in for a long day, though, right, Nicole?
It is going to be a long day. You know, they are doing 24-hour full coverage up until 6 o'clock this morning. And what that means is that all the trucks that you see right here, more than 45 trucks in Arlington, another 200 in Washington, D.C., they are going to be going straight. But something else I want to show you here over at the Salt Dome, this is new this year. They've been staggering in times because of this pandemic. So on a normal winter day, we would usually see lines wrap all the way down this street here, but today's been very different. We've seen them come in different sections, again, to avoid those large crowds. Another big difference was that with this pandemic, they've been doing virtual training when they can. They say they've been sanitizing the equipment in between use, setting up hand washing stations when they can. We also checked in with Washington, D.C. Similar thing there. They've been handing out protective gear. They've been trying to social distance, staggering the different times that people come in to avoid large crowds. And to prepare for all this, they say they actually started working over the summer. Take a look.
Interesting year. It's different, lots of different variables and things that, you know, we never really thought we'd have to deal with, you know, keeping shift changes and having, you know, 90 people per shift, but when a shift change would double that number. So you're talking 100, 150 people at a time in the building. And in past years, that was never really an issue as far from a safety, sanitation kind of perspective. So this year, that really throws a big monkey wrench into things.
All right, now one more thing I want to show you guys. This is new this year. It's a Arlington snow map where you can actually see where the snow plows are in Arlington in real time. So this is something new. They did a pilot program last year. Of course, we didn't really need it last year, so they're testing this out again today. And guys, we're going to continue to follow, you know, the snow, everything that happens here over the rest of the day. Nicole D'Antonio, WSA 9.
Sounds good, Nicole. And to help stay on top of this story and the storm, we're making it easy on you. Just text the word snow to 202-895-5599. We'll send you links to the latest models, road conditions, and school closures. All right, as promised, now back to Howard.
All right, I am just sending out something on social media. I'm going to walk over in half a second. One thing as you're looking at radar is that you're seeing the snow really start to fill in the last hour west and southwest of D.C. Not all of this is reaching the ground, but this is sort of the first phase of the storm that we're dealing with. When you start to see it reach at least aloft, it's filling in. And I think radar will become much busier over the next couple of hours here. And we're going to see some snow. And then down south, even when we see snow, you're going to change over to sleet and rain. And for you in southern Maryland, the northern neck, the eastern shore, it's pretty much a rain event is what we're expecting. D.C. going trace to an inch. You know, there's an outside chance we could see 2 inches of snow and sleet before the rain really kicks in. So if we got to 2, it wouldn't surprise me. Right now, though, we think there's going to be enough mixing where we'll keep it at 1 to 3 just north and west of D.C. in lower Montgomery, central and northern Fairfax counties into eastern Loudoun. But when you get to Leesburg, now we're talking 3 to 6. Same story in upper Montgomery, western Howard County, northern Fauquier by I-66. You go to southern Fauquier, could be a big difference. Could be like an inch or less down by I-95 in Fauquier County, you know, where 17 comes in at 95. And then I think that's where 17 comes in to 95. And then the northern part of the county, you know, could be in the 3 to 6 range. I mean, close to 6, right? When you get toward the Plains and Marshall and those areas, and not far from Middleburg and Loudoun County. The big snows, bigger accumulations, Frederick to Strasburg, Winchester, Stevens City, north to Hagerstown and Martinsburg and western Maryland. And where it stays all snow, west of Hagerstown, maybe toward Whitetail, right, in Mercersburg, Pennsylvania, out toward Clear Spring, you know, about 10 or 15 miles west of Hagerstown. They could pick up a foot. So for skiers, this is great news. We've been waiting for a good snow. And up in Pennsylvania, skiers are going to get dumped on. You know, places, Seven Springs going to get good snow, Blue Knob throughout much of central and eastern Pennsylvania as well. They could pick up 1 to 2 feet of snow. Even State College could pick up 1.5 feet, believe it or not. It's very tough for them to get a foot, let alone 1.5 feet of snow. So there's the radars. It's filling in from the big storm out west, but we also see the pink area south of Lynchburg. That's the freezing rain, the icing, if you will. And that's going to be a concern as we go later this morning into the afternoon. But looking at some of these radar echoes now, almost to Sperryville and Culpeper, when you start to see the blue, that's almost moderate snow here. So we've got some higher reflectivity showing up. And even south of Fredericksburg, back toward Wilderness even. If you've ever been out toward Wilderness on Route 3 west of Fredericksburg, might be seeing a few light flakes coming in. We saw it in Ruckersville and Harrisonburg on the Virginia traffic cam. Saw a couple of that. In town, the clouds are thickening up. They are lowering in advance of the wintry mix we're expecting, which will be here in the next couple of hours. I know the icon at 9 and 10 are still just cloudy. I think we'll be seeing some light snow falling here by 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then mid to perhaps upper 30s as we go into the afternoon with a northeasterly wind at 5 to 15. So Weather Service has put out a winter weather advisory for us. That goes until 4 a.m. tomorrow. and that's D.C., that's lower Montgomery, Fairfax, the counties immediately bordering I-95. Farther north and west, we've got the white counties. Those are Loudoun, Upper Montgomery, Western Howard, Frederick. Northern Fauquier points north and west. Winter storm warnings. They're going to have bigger problems. Not that we're not going to have problems. And we also have a rain concern. With the saturated ground, you pick up an inch, inch and a half of rain. Flood watches are in effect for the metro, southern Maryland as well. It is really soggy. So, you know, we could pick up an inch, inch and a half of snow. That's not out of the question. So we'll show you the futurecast. This is based right now on the HRRR, if you look it up, HRRR. And we've got snow, moderate snow here by lunchtime in town and north and west, with the sleet starting to mix in from the south and lifting north as we go through the afternoon. The heavier rain in southern Maryland and the northern neck. And some of that sleet's going to try to make it to I-81 before going back to snow tonight. And things will wind up probably between 2 and 4 a.m. Guys, so that's where we stand now. And I know I've got another cut coming up in a couple of minutes with CBS.
Well, I just got the text from my little one who's just waking up, and she said 2 words, no snow.
Not yet. Two-word answer
I said,
back.
Not yet. Stand by.
Yeah.
It's
Patience.
coming.
Stay at the window.
Patience.
Speaking of the little ones, let's talk about the schools. An update on what schools are doing today. It's a wide range. Obviously, snow days are very different this year anyway, thanks to virtual learning. So some schools have decided to stick with classes online today. Others are closing like they normally would. The latest to pull the plug is Stafford County. They said all students will partake in asynchronous learning today. Here are some of the bigger districts in our area. Alexandria City, Arlington County, Fairfax County, Frederick County, Maryland, and Montgomery County will all continue with virtual and distance learning today. Fauquier, Loudoun, and Prince William counties are closing for the day. We're still waiting on Prince George's County and D.C. Public Schools for what they are going to do. There are a lot more school districts changing their plans today, of course. For a full list of what they're doing today, just go to our website, WUSA9.com, or download our free WUSA9 app. They are also, that information, is it scrolling at the bottom of the screen for this event?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Okay. So go to the app and go to the website for that info.
Excellent question, Tony. Got to be accurate. All right, the thought of snow days usually brings excitement to our kids, but not everyone loves the idea of snow. And we asked you all morning long, are you excited or are you dreading this snow? And many of you have been weighing in on our social media pages, and there's a lot of mixed feelings out there, mixed responses, but mostly are positive. People are excited for the snow and the wintry mix ahead, like Bernie, who says her mother-in-law is visiting from India and she's never seen real snow. They're hoping to share the magic of the holidays with her. Could you imagine you've never felt snow or seen it in person and then it just snows?
It's awesome.
It's a magical experience. Russ, on the other hand, not a fan. Take a look. Clearly, 2 words. Hate it.
Sorry,
Short and
Russ.
sweet. Continue to weigh in using that hashtag GetUpDC on your screen right now. You should be seeing all the ways you can get in touch with us, including downloading our free app, WUSA9 free app, and also use that hashtag GetUpDC.
All right. Howard, I think you've got another cut in to do for
coming up in
CBS.
18 seconds on CBS, WUSA 9. It's been great for you guys to be with us, and we will see you a little bit later this morning, and of course coming up at noon, and I'll see you in about 8 seconds on WUSA.
Take care, everybody.
Hello again, Howard Bernstein with you on this very busy Wednesday morning. We've got the storm bearing down on us and starting to see some of that snow reach the ground in Virginia, closer to home. Ruckersville, Harrisonburg, seeing a few flakes there approaching Culpeper right now. The snow goes all the way back to Illinois. There's the rain, southern Kentucky into North Carolina, and